There are lots of metaverses out there, and in this video I want to talk about 5 different things that make Upland a extremely unique metaverse. Now, before I jump into my top 5 list, I want to open this video by sharing a clip of Mark Cuban talking about the metaverse.
And the worst part is people are buying real estate in these places. I mean, that's just the dumbest shit ever. The dumbest. Did I say it was dumb? No, that's not strong enough. Super meta, immaculately dumb.
Thanks for that intro, Mark. Now let's get into the top 5 things that make Upland unique. The first thing that is unique to Upland is that it's mapped to the real world. You can buy digital properties that are mapped to real world addresses. And yes, Mark called this extremely stupid. And in this video, I'm going to explain why he's right. If you think that you should be listening to me over Mark Cuban, you're absolutely wrong. So when you buy a property in Upland, it is the actual shape of the property in the real world, and you essentially own the digital representation of this address. What's great is that you can actually head into the Google Street View and see where this address actually is and its surroundings. If you're a baseball fan, you absolutely know exactly where this picture is taken from. This is on the bleachers across the street in left field of Wrigley Field. There are other metaverses that are mapped to the real world, but not in a sense where you can own the digital representation of the entire address. There are other metaverses that will take the entire map and cut it up into grids. So it's possible that this property might be owned by several different people, but in Upland, it's uniquely mine. Number 2, the Upland metaverse does not have its own crypto coin. Their in-game coin is called UPX, but it is only within the Upland metaverse. You cannot exchange it for dollars, and you cannot sell it on an exchange. The fact that it's not a publicly traded coin enables Upland to be regulatory compliant and have this game be featured on things like the Google Store and the Apple Store. There's no need to have any prior understanding of cryptocurrencies in order to get involved in Upland. In fact, it makes it a lot easier. When people like Mark Cuban can go and say things like buying real estate in the metaverse is dumb, and Elon Musk tweeting about Dogecoin or any other coin for that matter can have massive influences on the crypto market. The fact that Upland is shielded from this makes it a lot easier to understand, and your assets are more shielded from these external sources. Having said that, if UPX is only an in-game coin, this isn't stopping me from earning. Upland is all about play, earn, and connect. And here we can see that if I want, I can sell this property either for UPX or for US dollars. If I sell a property for US dollars, I'm able to see this in my profile under my US dollar balance, and I can withdraw this to a PayPal account after I've gone through the Know Your Customer process. The number 3 thing that makes Upland unique as a metaverse is the way that you have to travel. Just like in the real world, if you want to take a plane from Chicago to Los Angeles, you're going to have to spend time on that plane, and that plane flight is going to cost you money. The same thing is true in Upland. You're going to have to spend time in order to travel between the 2 different cities that you want to go, and you're going to have to pay for travel. If you're going to take an airplane, you're going to get there faster, but you're going to pay more money compared to if you're going to take a train. Also, within a city, if you're going to want to travel from one end of the city to the other end of the city, it's going to take you time. This is a future feature that's coming out in Upland. Right now, you're able to send yourself from one end of the city to another instantaneously, but that is not the future vision of this metaverse. Now, the clip I showed you at the beginning of Mark Cuban saying that buying virtual real estate is dumb, he was talking about this in the sense of many other metaverses, where you are buying virtual land, and on the map they might look like they are far away, but the in-game functionality of those metaverses allow you to teleport yourself instantaneously from one end of the map to the other end of the map. At the end of the day, all of these metaverse platforms are all about community building, and Mark Cuban is saying if you have a completely wide open map where the location of your property means absolutely nothing in relation to the other ones, and you can instantaneously teleport yourself from one end to the other end, it's all just one big community. However, in Upland, because of the fact that you have to spend time and money to travel, it makes people think twice about where they actually want to live. Where do they want to buy their properties? Where do they want to spend their time? Because if I set my home in Chicago, but there are lots of events and things that I want to do in Los Angeles, I'm going to be spending a lot of my UPEX and time traveling back and forth between my home in Chicago and Los Angeles. It might make more sense for me to go and buy a property in Los Angeles if that's where I want to be. And when Upland says that they're looking to create the real world in the metaverse, this is what they're talking about. If you physically live in Manhattan, you don't often travel to Chicago or to Los Angeles for events. That's a very big undertaking. And it's the same thing in the Upland metaverse. Even more so within Upland, the topic of community takes center stage. Players are able to work together to develop their neighborhoods, and based on certain metrics, the top neighborhoods are able to spawn new collections and provide you with additional boosted earnings on those properties. So the Upland metaverse is not just one community, there are many sub-communities within Upland. What makes Upland unique? Number 4, we're talking about manufacturing. In Upland, there are map assets, structure ornaments, cars, and many other things that you will be able to place on your properties. All of these inanimate objects need to be manufactured. All of these items are NFTs. Your properties are also NFTs. Now, in many other metaverses, if you want to create an NFT project, you can just create an unlimited amount of NFTs instantaneously. There's a field where you just decide how many of them you want to make, and they're made. Within Upland, it doesn't work this way. If you want to create 1,000 cars or 1,000 NFTs, then you can't just do it instantaneously. Here we can see at the MV Motors manufacturing plant, there's a huge backlog of cars that are waiting to be manufactured. And you need Spark in order to do this. We can see here that each NFT car takes time in order to manufacture it. So the more Spark that you have, which is kind of like a factory worker, the faster you're going to be able to produce these cars. In the real world, it doesn't make sense that you can create cars instantaneously, so that is true also in the Upland metaverse. I think this is an excellent feature because it will cause people to put more thought into the projects that they are creating and how many items they want to actually create of it. And the number one feature that makes the Upland metaverse unique from all of the other ones is the low barrier of entry for entrepreneurship. Here I have created my own business within Upland, which are called MetaVentures, and in this shop I sell block explorers. In many metaverses, land can cost tens of thousands of dollars, but within Upland, you can find properties for less than $3. This one here in Manhattan, I bought on the secondary market for 205,000 UPIX, which is the equivalent of $205, but the original mint price of this was around $20. As a new player, there are FSA properties, which are Fair Start Act, which prevent players like myself with high net worths from purchasing those properties. So you can expect to find something for everyone in Upland. You have your $3 properties, and you can also go and mint properties for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, or of course buy them on the secondary market from players who have already purchased them. That's not stopping anyone from opening up a business on this property or even on a $3 property. If you're a solopreneur or you have your own brand, it's very easy to integrate that into Upland. Even with a $3 property, you can build a structure, apply for a meta venture, and start going. Now, all of these features that I've pointed out make understanding a game like Upland very easy because it's very similar to the real world. When you're watching this video and asking yourself, why would someone spend $205, which is 10 times the original price, on a property in Manhattan, when there are available properties for $3 to mint in Detroit? I draw these parallels to the real world. There are people who want to live in New York for a specific reason, and there are people who want to live in Detroit for a specific reason. That doesn't mean that there isn't a vibrant community in Detroit versus in Manhattan. You're getting two different experiences in the real world. And I think it's safe to assume in the metaverse, you can expect something similar. The type of people who might gravitate to a city like Manhattan or Los Angeles would be different from those who gravitate to a place like Nashville or even Birmingham in England. As Upland creates partnerships with organizations like Aston Villa Football Club, which is located in Birmingham, or the Argentinian Football Association, where Upland has opened up the city of Buenos Aires, you can expect that people who are local to those places and want to engage with those brands are going to want to live virtually in those places as well. If you want to buy Argentinian football legits, you're going to have to travel to Argentina in order to do so. So you have to ask yourself, where exactly do you want to live and what communities do you want to be a part of within the Upland metaverse? Now, to close out this video, I'm going to hand it over once again to Mark Cuban, where he talks about the importance of creating communities in the metaverse.
There's unlimited volumes that you can create. Now, after you create a community, not before, but after you create a community, then you can find places, depending on how that community works, that can have perceived value because of access or whatever, right? But beforehand, based off of a traditional real estate model, dumbest motherfucking shit ever.